Hello, hi, can anybody hear me? Nice to be back on here again. This is still weird, this is still very nerve-wracking. Hope I'm not wobbling the camera a bit too much. I realised that last time I was wobbling about all over the place because, nerves got me. And this is my, I can't believe it, 7th live. And this is only my 2nd over Facebook. Please excuse me if I'm pacing myself a little bit because I always think that I'm ready when in fact I'm not, and I need to just steady myself a little bit. Yeah, I always want to start off with a mini introduction about what I'm about, why I'm doing these lives. And the answer is because I've always wanted to do workshops for art therapy or as an introduction to anybody who's thought about drawing or art in general, and just giving them a sort of starting point. I've never had the courage to do it in front of an actual group or an audience. And the thing is, with lockdown and everything, and with several people, several friends messaging me saying that they are looking for things to keep themselves occupied and asking about things to do with anything creative and not really knowing where to begin from because they just never had the chance. But now that we seem to be at home all the time, they're not quite sure where to begin. And that was when I had the idea of doing these live videos. I have done it more times over Instagram, and I've been practicing filming myself and practicing doing these meditative doodle pieces for you, and trying to think about some kind of guides or some kind of templates to begin with. And it's just gone from there really, where I'm doing this once or twice a week, getting more and more accustomed to filming myself and more accustomed to drawing as I film myself. I just wanted to show you how, if you are thinking about starting drawing, not quite sure where to start from, if you're an absolute beginner, or if you just want to give yourself something to do, or you've reached that level of boredom and you don't know what else to do, I thought that this would be some kind of just some kind of thing to occupy your time with. I'll give you some kind of ideas to begin from. And so I shall start drawing from now, and I'll show you what I've got for you to work with today to give you some kind of food for thought. So off I go. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, that's my feet. Last time I was working from a blank page, just showing how you can work from one tiny detail anywhere on the page, and how you can sort of add to it, and how you can make a doodle piece that's all your own. And then I came up with the idea of working from guides. You can make these yourself. They can be as accurate or inaccurate as you want them to be. This is talking about where you can start absolutely anywhere or start from a certain point, and you can work with or against the line. You use the pencil line as a guide. You can use a ruler for accuracy, or you can not use a ruler. You can start even with just a line on the page anywhere, and you can use that to sort of work with or against with pencil, biro, or pen, anything you've got at home. We're talking about using things that you've got around the house, and you don't have to work on small scale. I prefer working on small scale, whereas you can work on whatever size paper you like, depending on how comfortable that you are. And we're talking about being comfortable. We're not talking about being confident. Because that's something that comes with time. And got my starting point here. I prefer to work with fine liners, which is these pens that I've got here. It goes on like a gel pen, and it's fluid, it's quick, it's smooth. But you can work with pencil, or you can work with biro, whatever you want to work with. If you're more confident with pencils, that is absolutely okay. If you're not so comfortable with working absolutely from scratch, if you're absolute beginner, if this is the first time you've done this, or if you want to go in pencil first and then go over with a pen and rub the pencil out later, that's absolutely fine. That's the entire point in with meditative doodling, is that we are in the comfort of our own homes, of our own space, and we are just going with. And so that's what I'm doing with today. I have done using this pattern for the last few videos, and so we're not doing that today. We are working with this now because, yeah, this is just something new for me to work with. and to show you how you can start from any sort of points on the page, and how you can add, and how you can recover it or you can adjust it. And so and also with these is that it doesn't have to have any kind of rhyme or reason or theme. You could just go with it. Seeing a pattern like this, a lot of you are probably thinking about mandalas. Mandalas is a lot to do with symmetry, and we're not talking about giving ourselves a tension headache with making everything accurate. This one is just about how you can make something out of nothing, like an argument with your other half. He's laughing. Yes. I'm sure that's been happening with you guys a lot lately. I mean, we're living in very odd times, a lot of tension, a lot of, just getting used to this whole new normality we're living in. And so what am I going to do for you? So we got our lines, and you can begin from the beginning if you want. And as I say, these are a little bit odd because this is me holding the phone with one hand and drawing with the other. Woohoo. See what I mean? You can use the pencil line to work with rather, or against the line. And it doesn't have to be absolutely accurate. I mean, I've got that little snag there. We are just talking about just taking a page or a page with pencil on it and just see where your mood wants to take you. And it's a case of, you know, what's going to happen? Where's this going? What is this turning into? No idea. Yeah. Using the line as a guide. I thought I was all prepared for this. He's making a noise! Yeah, that's the coffee machine. We've got a new coffee machine. Because we've just moved into our new flat. We literally moved in on the weekend of lockdown, would you believe it? And so we've treated ourselves to a few new commodities to make this new apartment a home. So yeah. Anyway, this is what is going on here with this. We're just adding. As I say, does not need to be any kind of sense and doesn't need to follow a theme at all. We are just letting our minds go with it. I mean, when I do my meditative doodling, like when I'm working on commissions, that's another matter because it's somebody who's asking you to create something specific for them. But I mean, a lot of my pieces, say some of my pieces rather, I'm trying to get my words out, sorry, often start from meditative drawing or meditative doodling pieces where, you know, you're just doodling and then you can use reference. You can work from photos as you go and copy, say, pictures of flowers or leaves or anything that you've got to hand. And then next thing you know, it just ends up in this Mambo Bizarro epic. And that's kind of what I want to encourage people to do with this whole thing that we've got going on right now. And that's what I want to do with my workshops eventually, is to get people in a place where they are comfortable to just experiment and just give it a go. Because if you are new to drawing, the best thing I believe you can do is just get a feel of the materials that you've got to hand, like pens, paints. I think at some point we will get on to using paints at some point or other. But as I say, showing people how to use paints and work with colour and paints is a little bit tricky right now because, as I say, I'm drawing with one hand and I'm filming with the other. And even though we've moved into our new flat, we've got everything we need. Well, everything we need, obviously, to live with, but I don't have absolutely everything. And so that means me sort of using whatever I've got to my disposal right now. And until more shops open, I should be able to get hold of sort of apparatus, as it were, to be able to hold the phone in place as I do. But for now, I'm just working in this way. Yeah, as you can see, that line was a little bit shorter than that one, but you can work with or add to it as you go. And as I say, when you get snags like this, you can recover it, or you can add to it to make it look like something else, or you can develop it into something else rather. It is a little bit tricky at times because I'm holding the phone and I'm drawing at the same time, plus I'm keeping an eye on comments that are coming through. If anybody's got any questions at all about this, please do ask away. Like, it has turned into a weekly exercise, you know, to just get online, do these lives and talk to people and say hi. Yeah, it has become really nice and enjoyable doing this. As I say, I've been practicing over Instagram, and that was nerve-wracking enough. But I've come to realise that for me personally, Instagram is my safe bubble, because I have a lot less friends and family over Instagram. And if I'm practicing with these videos, I mean, I started with IGTV at the beginning of the year, but it didn't work. Several technical issues. And so I thought IGTV isn't the one for me. And so I gave Instagram Live a go. And the good thing about Instagram Lives is that it's in your stories bar on Instagram for 24 hours. And one good thing I found with that is that I was able to practice. And the thing is, I was able to watch myself back and think about, oh yeah, which part did I do well and which parts didn't I do well and which parts can I leave out next time. And the cool thing is that, you know, it's on there for 24 hours and then it's deleted, it's gone forever. And so that was a nice practicing point for me. And the last 2 times I've been filming myself over Facebook. Facebook, I feel like it's my Roman Colosseum in a way, because I've got more friends and family over Facebook. And therefore, the idea of going live over Facebook was more daunting, because I'm never sure who the hell I'm going to run into over Facebook. And, you know, you could take the statement in whichever way you want. But with my Facebook, I've got too many people on my friends list who are indirectly or directly connected to people from my past who I'm not entirely ready with showing all of myself with yet. And as I'm only new to filming myself, I really didn't want that to start with straight away. But I've become a bit more comfortable with doing this over Facebook. It's going okay so far. I mean, nerves always get me before I do any of these, because even though I have an idea of what I want to do, it still kind of turns into something completely other. No matter how you have it planned, there's always something that goes wrong, or it just takes a completely different direction. From all the musicians and artists that I've followed over Instagram, and just in general, I've learnt to approach it from a musical kind of attitude. And I don't know if that's how the Brits sort of carry on in their own way. It's like your entire world could be crashing down around you. And even in your darkest hour, there's always a sense of humour there. So I'm starting this little spoke here. As I say, I'm not, there is a kind of amount of thought and concentration that goes into these. But above all, I'm just going with, and I hope that you find the comfort to be able to do that. This is about just having you in your own safe bubble at home, just figuring out how you feel comfortable with the materials you've got around you and having a feel for it, figuring out, you know, does this work for me? Do I feel comfortable doing this? Next time you're on your supermarket shop you are able to pick up, say, a pad, like a sketch pad, or pens from the supermarket. Like you could grab biro pens. I mean, they cost not very much at all, and you can always get hold of some cheap felt tips, completely inexpensive, doesn't break the bank. And as I say, this is like something that you could do even if you have reached that absolute level of boredom and you have no idea what else to do with yourself. And next thing you know, it could turn into some kind of mad bad acid trip on paper. I hope everybody's doing all right. As I said on the last video, it was just remarking on how the last month was mainly about trying to desperately keep yourself occupied. But I don't know how it is for you, but I think the general attitude with everybody is that even though we've got our anxieties, and even though we've got our sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate, I think people have kind of accepted that this is the new normal, and it's more a case of, what do you feel like doing today? You know, I couldn't possibly speak for everybody, but I think that's my general findings about it. But I hope everybody's keeping safe and well. And VE Day, yeah, that was 75th anniversary was yesterday. Kind of hit home for a lot of people, I think, in terms of how this year has like just had a complete turnaround. I was seeing all these posts from back in January where they were talking about all these mad plans, all these big plans going on across the country. And when you think about how everything has just phenomenally changed within the space of weeks, and it gets you emotional when you see old posts from back in January about people having all these plans for the year ahead, and it's totally been written off. I mean, I was commissioned to do some work for a local music festival in July, and even though we all knew it was on the cards that it was going to be cancelled, the official cancellation coming through yesterday brought it all home, because it seems a heck of a lot more real when you see it in writing. They are going to go ahead in their own way. I mean, they're going to do a live stream for all of the artists who would have been involved on the dates that the festival would have been happening, and so the music shall carry on playing, the show will go on, but of course, adapting to the new way of living. Sorry, I just had a bit of concentration there. Getting back to VE Day, it's also heartwarming to see like all these photos flying about how people in their local areas and their local neighbourhoods are still making the most out of the celebrations. Like people meeting up in their front gardens, or from their front gardens I should say, with the bunting out, with the music still playing, people dressing up for the occasion. But you know, that's what we do as a nation. We carry on. Whatever's happening, we just carry on. And it's so wonderful to get to see, you know, like our country united. Absolutely. And what the heck is that? I have no idea. Okay, so we got this. You see how it just sort of turns into some kind of bleh. That's how I can describe it. I described one of my pieces that I've done like this a few weeks ago as a hemorrhage, because that is what it is. It is a blooming hemorrhage. It can follow a theme, or it doesn't have to. Just go with, working with or against the line as a guide. That's what we're doing. Has anybody got any questions at all? I would love to hear from you. Yeah, hello Miran, hello Darsha. Hello Darsha. Yeah, hope you're having a nice Saturday, all of you. Right, that was another thing about me doing these Facebook Lives, is the fact that, well, not only was I say, what's stopped me from sharing my artwork or being public in the past is the fact that I knew that whatever artwork I was going to show on here meant that I was going to have to put a part of myself out there as well. And the thing is, well, since forever really, I've never felt completely comfortable with showing all of myself with certain people. This is when I start drawing with these things. So that's what I do. I end up going off on a tangent, or I get my words stuck, sorry. It's like I said earlier, there are certain people on my friends list on Facebook who are connected with people from my past whom I'm not entirely comfortable with showing all of myself to yet, but I am steadily breaking down that barrier. I know you can block people, but the thing is, you can't spend your entire life like hiding yourself away, can you? You can't sort of hide yourself away all for the sake of meeting the approval of Karens and Joe Blogs, as I call them.
In my school called Jim Bob.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, stop it! You're live, you know. Takes all sorts to make a world, as my friend puts it. This is what I do with these lives. I think when I get a little bit more comfortable, I end up going off on a tangent. I think I was talking about doing these Facebook Lives, I think, is what I was going to say. So basically, this is about me just getting more comfortable with filming myself and putting myself more out there. Started with Instagram, and now I'm trying to do Facebook, because what I'm hoping is that, in a way to help me, as well as help you guys at home, is the fact that I want to become more accustomed with filming myself and doing these, because my ultimate aim is to do workshops to do with art therapy in my local area, is what I'd love to do. But unfortunately I can't tell you when, because who knows when the government restrictions are going to lift, or how the world's going to be within a space of months or even next year. But we'll think about that when it happens, or when we get nearer to it. And on that note, I think what's causing people's anxiety a lot is that everybody is thinking, how much longer? And I know it's horrible to think of reschedule things for next year, but I think for people on the whole, even just thinking about going to work or going back to work, I think if we just take it as it comes, maybe that would sort of, I don't know, I'm just trying to think about, well, I know it's difficult, everybody's situation is different, I'm aware of that. But I think if we try and just take it as it comes, we will start to maybe become a bit more relaxed about this. My anxiety definitely comes from the grocery shopping. Just how we do our grocery shopping and bringing everything in the house and disinfecting it afterwards. That is my big source of anxiety for me at the minute. Yeah. One thing I should say is that when you're doing these, we're not thinking, or we're trying not to think, does that look like a leaf? Does that look like a specific leaf? Does this look like a diamond? Do these look like blooming harlequins? Is this accurate enough? Does that fit in with this? Does this bit? Is this symmetrical to this part? We are just going with it. We are just getting relaxed and letting our minds take us wherever we want it to take us. You want to draw a trick? Can't speak. You want to draw a picture of a truck, you want to draw a picture of a giant blunt, you want to draw a picture of a tablet, you want to draw a picture of a medication tablet or a blimmin' Apple, iPhone, whatever gadget, tablet, whatever it is, you do that. You do you, because you are in the privacy of your own home. And we're not talking about sharing our pictures over Facebook, only if you're not ready to, because we're talking about getting more relaxed, more comfortable is the word I want to use. Because in the beginning of this lockdown, and this is why I started doing these lives in the first place, is that over recent times I've had friends of mine of varying ages say that they've always wanted to do an art group, or they want to take part in an art group, or they want to start drawing or painting and they do not know where to begin. And they've said that they've always wanted to, but for whatever reason they've just never had the opportunity, or they've never had the chance, or they've had an overly critical art teacher at school, or they might have had an unenthusiastic art teacher at school, or they have just come from a household where creativity hasn't been encouraged. For whatever reason, they've just never had the opportunity to. And so it gave me a bit of food for thought about where would, well, it's kind of coming from my own ideas, but also from watching other artists with their videos. Thinking about what would you do for tutorials. And then the idea of meditative doodling came to my attention, because you've got all these colouring in books, but you've also got these doodle books. And a few years ago, the idea of meditative doodling came more to the fore, where people were starting to begin these groups all over the place, where it would encourage people to sort of just draw in the moment. And that is kind of what this idea has all stemmed from. And I hope that it's going to be in some sort of encouragement to whoever out there, even if it's just for one person, you know. But I do have a good old time once I get going. It's just those nerves, but it's just the idea of, you know, who are you going to run into? And I do feel like I'm more open to criticism over Facebook. I mean, all of us to an extent. I don't think any of us take criticism very well. The thing is, I can take criticism because that is my life, that is my job. My entire life is rejection. You know, like you might make something and somebody's not going to like it, or they might ask you to change something, and that's okay. But I think with Facebook, it feels more like you open yourself up to being criticised more personally. But, you know, I'm practicing these, and that's all you can do, is just give it a go, which is what I'm doing. Okay, we've done that one. I have no idea what the time is. What is the time? Dom!
It is 3:43.
Okay. And I hope that I am doing this as clearly and coherently and audibly as I possibly can. I can only improve with time. You see what I mean? You've got this little detail here and you can add to it, or you can work around it. There we go. With these little blobbies. There you go. You can carry that on, or you can extend it. The problem with when I do these or any artwork is that at times I do not know when to stop. I just find myself adding and adding and adding, but but because this is a exercise thing, I'm going to keep it, you know, within a sensible, I should probably say a sensible kind of discipline, where I don't carry on off the page. If this is looking a little bit more scrappy, that's because I'm trying to hurry this up a little bit for you. Don't want to keep you too long. So what are we going to do from here? That's the thing, you can make these as detailed or as simple as you want them to get. That's starting to look like a golden snitch. Give that a little stem. Okay, we are, yeah, that one's not as busy as I would have wanted it to be. That's okay. Yeah, I'm going to finish this one off for you to conclude this session. That's the thing, when you find yourself adding, you can use the other things around you that you've already drawn as a guide to sort of work with and against. And after you've used these pencil lines, you can then rub them out. And then next thing you know, you've ended up with this mambo bizarro mad bad acid trip of a piece that you had no idea what was happening. Yeah. Okay, we are sort of coming to the end of this. So yeah. Now, I have enjoyed myself doing this. It's been nice to see people come on here and yeah, say hello. It's been really nice. This has become, you know, a source of enjoyment as well for me, because, as I say, it's just a chance to sort of escape reality and say hi. And it definitely makes you feel like you're interacting with others. Okay, don't know what that's going to be. I will conclude this in a sec for you. Okay, is that it? I think so. This is now where I look at it and I think, oh crumbs, this does not look fulfilled. This part doesn't look full. Yeah, I might add a few spooky bits here. Make it look like an anemone. So, yes, try it yourself. Just using templates, little simple pencil lines that you can give yourself to work with or against, however you want to do it. This is all about you doing what you want with the pen, pencil, fine liner, felt tip, permanent marker, whatever you want to work with. This is where I feel like I can't stop because I keep analysing it now. But yeah, it could be whichever way up you want it to be. Spooky thing. Yeah, I really do feel like adding to these bits here, and I wish I had done. But no, that's what we've ended up with today, simply from starting from one point in the middle and then just adding, extending and editing and recovering. So you never know what on earth you're going to end up with by the end of it, but that is what this is all about. Yes, so until the next time, yeah, keep safe, keep well, and take care. And bye-bye.